I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is out of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the earth.
We got our notice to work the motorcade the night before. Ralph and I both got assigned to that detail, really. I think it's like 20 people that came in from East Texas and around Dallas to assist the Dallas Police Department in the motorcade. And when they assign you something, you show up and do the job and the best you can.
Yeah, we were, those that were selected, several of us, we met with the Secret Service the day or two before the president's arrival. Secret Service requested that we wear civilian clothes, with the exception they wanted us to wear a Western hat, carry our gun with us.
They designated what kind of car you drove as to what positions you provided in the motorcade, and the reason that I had the four-door Mercury, which was a 1964 model, and was because it had four doors on it mainly. And the Secret Service needed a car that they could get in and out of without having to stop. So it's like
the chief of police led the motorcade, and then somebody else led the president's car, and then the president and the president's follow-up car were all driven by Secret Service agents. The next car was the vice president. Herschel Jackson, another trooper, was driving that car. Behind that was the Secret Service follow-up car for the vice president. Joe Rich was driving that car. One thing that struck me, even though the crowd were very overjoyed seeing the president, and they were numerous, but once the shots turned out, I was still on Main Street, getting ready to turn on Houston Street where you could see the Texas School Book Depository. But Congressman Albert Thomas from Houston was sitting in the middle of the front car. I heard the gunshot, but to me it sounded more like two befores falling in an empty building. And one of the reasons I had pointed out that 2 streets over, the new Dallas County courthouse had been filled, but it was still empty. And when those shots rang out, it sounded like two befores. But Albert Thomas, the congressman from Houston, said, "My God, they shot him."
I heard 3. Sounded like cannons to me, what it sounded like. And that, it sounded like back in you heard those old cannons fire off in the movies. That's what it sounded like to me. And it was kind of like a boom, boom, boom. It was kind of a hesitation between the second and third shot.
But I was not really conscious how this affected the whole world, and this was such a historic situation. When people found out about our role that we had in the JFK assassination, they're enthralled with it. They're interested. They want to know more about it. We still get letters from people all over the world that know that we were in the motorcade.
So we spent the day there and drove in the motorcade and went through a bad time, and we made it through it anyway.
Waving back at them. A moment now etched in bronze.
Here,
just north of where the children were, Victor Summerlin was there with his mother Mary and her 16mm camera.
She took that shot and just followed him all the way down.
Upon hearing the president she so admired, who'd been met with such adulation in San Antonio, had been assassinated the next day.
I looked at my mother. She was crying. First time I've ever seen her cry. She was crying.
Impactful moments now